Hey guys, how's it going? Digiboard Gaming here. I'm back with some footage of some Bt12 gameplay. My opponent's playing Gallantmon on the right while I'm playing Imperialdramon on the left. And he did mulligan. I did not. So there's that. So you guys can keep that in mind. And as you can see, he hatched his egg. Digivolved for Gallantmon. And then played the new Tocado for 4. Putting me at 4, which is not a really good idea to put Imperialdramon players at 4. Anyway, so I hatched my egg. I had Digivolved into Vmon with jamming in the back. Drew a card. I played 3 for the Wormmon from Bt12. Reveal the top 3. You can add anything with Imperialdramon or freeness traits, and then also a Davis. But there was no Davis, so I just added the other Wormmon because it has freeness traits. I'm at 1 memory. And I hard dropped the new Vmon for 3, reveal the top 3, and then can add a free top and Davis. So as you can see, I did get the 2 hits. So I added both to hand, put them at 2. No, wait, sorry, 3. He promotes the Gallantmon, swings, he draws for Gallantmon, and then the Digimon. And hits the first security check, which was the Davis. Now I got a Tamer on the board, and you guys will see what he does a little bit later. Then he hard drops the new Gallantmon for 3, goes to 0, reveals the top 4, and adds any Tocados. But there is no Tocados, unfortunately for him. So he just bottom decked them. Now he's at 0 memory. And then played the old Tocado for 3 in past turn. I promote my Vmon, and then in the start of my main phase, if I have a Digimon with freeness traits, I gain a memory because of Davis. So I go to 2. I Digivolve for Vmon. Well, actually, I was at 4, then I went to 2. Digivolve for X Vmon. Swung over the Gallantmon, and then swung with jamming with Vmon, and drew a card for the Demi V Egg on top of that. I'm still at 2 memory. Oh, I'm at 2 memory, yeah. Sorry, my opponent has a bad habit of moving his memory around, so just try to pay attention, I guess. So I Digivolve for 2 for Stigmon, going to 0. Draw for Digivolving. And then I ended up DNA Digivolving here for Dino Bmon from the starter. Then suspending the Gallantmon so that it doesn't unsuspend during the next turn because I DNA Digivolve for the Dino Bmon. And I'm still at 0 memory here. I swing him for 1 check. It has jamming because of the XV inheritable. It hits a Tocado from EX2, I believe. Then I hard drop Wormmon again to end the turn, revealing the top 3, and I add the old Imperialdramon Dragon mode. And then putting the rest at the bottom, passing turn. So he hatches his egg. Unfortunately for him, his Gallantmon's not going to unsuspend. And he does have a memory fixer, which is the new Bt12 Tocado. My opponent Digivolves for Gallantmon in the back, draws a card. Digivolves for 2 for Growlmon, draws another card. And then reduces the cost for this Calmon for 2, since he has a Gallantmon on the board, so now he can just pay 1 for it. And now he's at 0. He's trying to decide what he wants to do here. And at this point, I believe he just Digivolves in the back, but I can't really remember. Oh yeah, he did for War Growlmon for 3, putting me at 3. I actually gained a memory for my Davis. I just didn't do it right then and there, but it has to happen, so it's not something you can ignore. I Digivolve for Wormmon in the back, swing with jamming Vmon for 1, drew for the Demi V Egg. And then swinging with Dinobemon. And on my turn, when one of your two colored blue and green Digimon attacks, by suspending this tamer, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Imperialdramon in its name from your hand for the cost. So I go into the old dragon mode, swinging in for 1 check, and then bringing out XVmon and Stingmon from underneath it while doing so, because I Digivolved into it while I was attacking. I ended up DNA Digivolving for the new Imperialdramon, which stuns the 2 Digimon he has on the board because they have no Digivolutions when you DNA Digivolve for it. And I just wanted to make sure I didn't drop that Wormmon that turn, which I didn't. So I ended up just swinging in with Imperialdramon for 1 check, and then swung for game with Wormmon. And that's how that went down. We're going into game 2 now. I did mulligan, and my opponent did not. So I was going second. I hatched my egg. I Digivolve for Wormmon. From the back, drew a card. Hard drop Vmon for 3, revealing the top 4, and then it lets me add 1 2-colored blue card among them, which was the Megadeth. And then bottom deck the rest. So I left my opponent at 3. He hatches his egg. Digivolves for Gallantmon in the back, draws a card. Digivolves for Growlmon in the back for 2, goes to 1, draws another card. Then plays Takato for 3, putting me at 2. I draw for turn. I promote my my Wormmon. I don't know why I was gonna say Dino Beat. I played Davis and Ken for 4, and I slipped up here and I gave him 1 extra memory, but it's okay. We make mistakes. Should have been at 2, to be honest, because I was at 2. So as you can tell, my opponent's terrible at managing his memory, and so am I apparently, since I gave him 1 extra memory. But it's all good. So on his turn, he promotes the Growlmon. I did the right play here by choking him to 2, but since I screwed up, I gave him 1 extra memory. When he Digivolves into that War Growlmon, he pops anything with 6,000 or less, suspends the Takato to gain 1 memory. So now he's at 1. It also gains Blitz. Not that it matters. Well, actually it does matter. He gains Blitz. So he Digivolves for the new Gallantmon for 4, putting me at 3. When he does Digivolve, it pops my Vmon. And then he swings in for 1 check. When attacking, he's supposed to delete something with 6,000 or less, but since nothing was deleted, you just trashed the top card instead. So then he hit the second card, which was a Megadeth. Was lucky for me because the first one was a Hammer Spark. It would have just gave me 2 extra memory like I needed. But Megadeth works just fine. So I ended up just bouncing it back to his hand. And then put me at 3. I draw for turn, hatch my egg. I Digivolve for Vmon in the back. A hard drop Wormmon for 3, going to 0, revealing the top 3. I add Stingmon, I believe. Yep. Because I already had the Dragon mode. And then right here, I decided to Digivolve for XVmon for 2. I ended up giving him another extra memory again. I keep mistaking that older Takato as the memory fixer, apparently. And I'm over here talking bad about my opponent's memory, manipulation. So, unfortunately for me, I left him at 3. He played the red memory boost, revealing the top 4. And adds a Gallantmon. But which Gallantmon will he add? He added the Bt12 one. Puts the rest at the bottom of the deck. You guys really need to pay attention to your memory, because I lost this game. I gave him 1 extra memory for 2 turns. Digivolves for the Gallantmon in the back. He drew a card. Then the hard drops EX2 Gallantmon, revealing the top 4. And he adds the Growlmon and Takato from Bt12, because that's what he does. And passes turn. I drew a card. I gain a memory for the Davis and Ken. I swing in with Jamming Vmon for 1 check. Drew for the Demi Egg. I hard drop Stingmon for 3, since I can reduce the cost by 1 since I have a blue Digimon on the board. Going to 1. Ended up DNA Digivolving for the new Dinobemon. And I drew for DNA. Dinobemon suspends one of your opponent's Digimon. He gains 3,000, then he can attack it. I drew in for the Stingmon Inheritable. I ended up Digivolving for 4 for the old Dragon mode. And then bringing out EX Vmon and Stingmon. And then I suspended my Tamer to unsuspend my Dragon so it doesn't die. And now I did leave him at 3 because I had paid 4 and I was at 1. But it was a little too late at this point, I'm afraid. So he promotes his Gallantmon. And he's at 3 memory. Digivolves for Gallantmon for 2. Reveals if he doesn't have a Takato, he can play one for free. But he didn't, so he ended up popping his memory boost, going back to 3. And I believe he Digivolves for the EX2 War Gallantmon for 3, going to 0. He draws for the Digievolution. And then we trash the top 3. And if a player has 5 or more, he can play a Takato or a Gallantmon from trash for free. So what will he play through that? He plays the Bt12 Takato, which was a good call in this situation. So he's at 0 memory. Digivolves for the new Gallantmon for 4. Deletes my Stingmon on Digivolving because he loses 6,000 DP. Then he swings in to my security. Actually, he actually used the raid, not my security. He swung into my Imperialdramon. And he gains a memory for Takato, so he goes back to 3. Both my cards unsuspend. I hatch an egg, and then I gain a memory for Davis and Ken, so I go back to 4. I swing in with Jamming Vmon, draw a card for the egg. And then I hard drop Vmon from Bt12 for 3, revealing the top 3. I add the Searcher Vmon from the starter deck. Put the rest at the bottom, and then I ended up Mega Deathing him for 5, putting him at 4. So he just returned the Gallantmon back to his hand. He hatches his egg on his turn. He's at 4 memory. Then he goes and Digivolves in the back for Gallantmon. Draws a card for Digivolve. To be honest, I thought things were going to be in my favor here, but after realizing that I gave him not just the extra memory twice already, but kind of learned the hard way about what Takato from Bt12 does. So he hard drops Gallantmon for 3, goes to 1. He adds the Takato from EX2. Bottom decks the rest. Then he went ahead and used Takato from Bt12, which is at the start of your turn. Actually, it's on the main. I was reading the gain memory. So basically, he gets a Growlmon, a War Growlmon, and a Gallantmon, and Takato, and places all of them underneath him. Or, no, he places Takato underneath the Gallantmon, along with the Growlmon and the War Growlmon, so he can Digivolve into Gallantmon. And since he deleted something, he gained the memory back. And then that was pretty much it, really, for that turn. And I had a really difficult choice to make here, but what I went and did is I Digivolved in the back, swung in with Vmon for 1 check, and drew for the egg. Then I hard drop Stingmon for 3. And then I Digivolved for Imperialdramon for 4. And when Digivolving, you trash the top 3 Digi-evolutions from one of your opponent's Digimon. Had I DNA Digivolved, I think it would stun the card, but it would have to have no sources underneath it in order to stun. So at least I have a level 5 on the board and got rid of some of his sources there. Actually, you put the Takata all the way at the bottom, I see. So he promoted Gallantmon. And so he Digivolves for Gallantmon for 2 and draws a card after Digivolving. I believe he was readying himself to attack over my Vmon, but he didn't. Started contemplating whether he should or not. And at this point, he should swing over the Vmon, but I believe he should be able to delete that Vmon. So he's going to swing in, or at least attempt to. Not sure if he is going to follow up on it here, but I'm pretty sure he has to at this point. Just going through his hand a little bit more, making sure he has the right play. I'm assuming that's what's going on through his head. So for sure, he swings in at security. And then the Gallantmon Inheritable deletes the Vmon. He hits a Dragon mode, unfortunately. He does get to suspend Takato to gain a memory. So he goes to 3. And this is where he pulled this sweet little game out of his ass. Pays 3 for Takato. Still got the Gallant. Goes into Crimson for 6. Deletes my Imperialdramon. Swings in with Blitz because of Takato. And then if there's 10 or more, for every 10 cards in my trash, and I had 20, trashes the top 2, and then swung for game. Now we're going into game 3. I did not mulligan, and my opponent did on this game. So just so you guys know, he starts by going first and hatching his egg. Then he plays Takato for 3, and then pass the turn back to me. I hatch my egg, Digivolve for Vmon in the back, draw a card. And then I start off by playing Davis for 4, adding the Stingmon and the Imperialdramon Dragon mode, putting them at 1. So I'm doing pretty damn good to start off the game. And it was unfortunate that he didn't get a rookie. So at 1 memory, and it's my opponent's turn. Hard drops Gallantmon for 5, puts me at 4. I promote the Vmon. I swing in for 1 security check. I draw for the egg. I hard drop Vmon from Bt12, reveal the top 3. And I went ahead and grabbed the Wormmon. And then just Digivolve for 2 for XV to choke him out to 1. Pass over to him. Draws for his turn. Still no rookie, unfortunately, for him. Doesn't have too many options I can see. Digivolves for 3 to War Gallantmon. Then we trashed the top 3. And right then and there, I trashed both of my Dragon modes. So I'm really happy I added the 1. And then ended the turn by playing Takato for 3. Then I go to 3 because of Davis. I hatch my egg. Digivolve for Wormmon in the back. Swing in with jamming Vmon. 1 check. Draw a card for the egg. Swing with jamming X Vmon. Hard drop Stingmon for 3. I DNA Digivolve into the new Imperialdramon. I trash the top 3 Digivolutions from the War Gallantmon, and then it stuns it for the next turn. Yeah, this game was just pretty... outpaced, and unfortunately for him, he just didn't have a rookie, so maybe that would have helped, maybe not. I Digivolve for 4 for the Dragon mode. I bring out XV and Stingmon, setting up for the next game. For the next play, I'm sorry. He finally got his rookie, Digivolves for it. Unfortunately, he just added it. He finally got to it too late. And I believe there's hardly anything he can do, because the next turn I was going to just go off. He's just trying to figure out if there's anything he can really do, but it just seems like he doesn't have anything. And this game came to an early close, unfortunately, for him. I think he did make one last play here. If not, then yeah, he did. He just gave up here. And then I got the win.